Hey folks, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host Mark, and this is whiskey review number 159. 159, yep, that's where we are. We're going back to Canada, well our palate is, and this is back to the two Brewers single malt makers, which comes from Yukon Spirits. That's the company that makes it, the sister company of Yukon Brewing. And this is their latest release, which is release 05, called Innovative. So they have a few different varieties of releases. This one is the Innovative variety. There were 1,380 bottles released. It was released in February 2017, so just about a month old. It should be on shelves in Alberta and BC and Canada. 43% ABV. And anything else to note here? Well, they've apparently used a sour mash to produce this particular bottling, this particular cask or casking. It's probably a few casks that they've put together for this one. Now, what is the Innovative? Well, this is where they're trying to use their uniqueness, their ingenuity to make something very different. Two Breweries brings brewing techniques to the spirits world to create unique and diverse malt expressions. So it looks like they're focusing a lot on the fermentation part of this to make the whiskey different in some way. And yes, it is quite different in fact. I'm going to read through this. This is a little note that I got from Jasmine Sangria, who works for the company in a marketing faculty. And let's see here. Influences from a sour mash distillation create a broad spectrum of sensations, from bright and briny nose to a finish of sweet dried fruit and nuts. I will not read the tasting notes, but let's see. Just a quick little rundown of the company one more time. Yukon Brewing was formed in 1997 by Bob Baxter and Alan Hansen, and 2009 they invested in a small pot still, which they've given a name. What's the name they've given it? Is it Carl? I've forgotten. Anyway, so very interesting. It's single malt. However, let's see. With a variety of malted and roasted grains. Okay, so malted and roasted grains. So the roasted grains, these could be roasted malt grains, and I believe that's what they would be. And they could be barley malt or rye malt, wheat malt. Heck, there's even corn malt and rice malt that they could use, amongst other lesser grains. Each expression is different. The goal is that no two releases will be the same, so that as each expression emerges, it is layered and complex and probably never to be repeated. And they've won lots of awards. The latest were 3 silver awards, three silver medals, I should say, at the Canadian Whiskey Awards, which happened not too long ago. Anything else? Well, anyone who's interested, I'll give you the UPC number just in case. 627619, 621169, 627619, 621169. All right. And a nice little note again from Ms. Sangria. Yes, the marketing director. I should give her full title. And a big hello to all of the staff that are up there and working in Canada, trying to get the product on shelves and off of it as quick as possible. All right, well, let's get on to that right away. Where are we? There we are. I've got my notes here. We're going to check it out again. I got quite a sizable sample. Unfortunately, my first taste was wasted because I had a terrible cold. I couldn't smell a thing. It did taste okay, but it tasted rather like just generic whiskey flavor, so I couldn't really do anything with that. Thankfully, the second time my nose was much better, and I've almost recovered now, so I feel pretty confident about offering you a full and detailed. Should we go all in? I think, well, I'm going to leave that little amount there. Okay, I think I know someone, again, someone who will enjoy having that, even though it's a small amount. boy, maybe I should pour a little back in. That would be a shame to give someone just a one swallow full of delicious whiskey. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. So about 25 milliliters left, I hope, and about 25 milliliters in my glass. All is well. Okay. New shirt, by the way. This is my birthday shirt. Big thank you to the sister-in-law and the brother-in-law and me and Sang-hun. Thank you so much. All right. 43% ABV. I mentioned that already. Is it chill filtered? I doubt that it is. If it were, it would only be very slightly. Color, I believe that it would be natural. It is pretty light. If they do use color, again, I'm sure it would be only the smallest amount, which my nose definitely cannot detect. I'm going to come back to my notes in a minute. We'll have a very short word from the YouTube sponsors right here. Welcome back. Let's get on to the nose for the Release 05 Innovative from Two Brewers, Yukon Single Malt. The first thing I'm reminded of here is something kind of like cola balls. So there is a very nice aged oaky component here. And there's also something that's got that slightly tangy sweetness, like a cola. Very nice. A little bit of ginger. Maybe more like a Dr. Pepper, come to think of it. A little bit of cinnamon. And there's something slightly salty there in the background. As I mentioned, brine, and I hope I'm not priming my mind by thinking of that and looking for it, and I believe I wrote that down as well. Okay. There's also some kind of citrus scent here that's coming through. Citrus and green fruits. And what I've written here are green fruits, kiwi, not quite fully ripe ones, green grapes, mint. Yes, I smelled the mint earlier. I meant to mention that. Almost like a menthol. Eucalyptus. And I think I may have said that before about this distillery. And lime margarita jelly belly jelly beans, which are pretty much my favorite. And no, don't send me any. Unless you are the company that runs Jelly Belly in, where is that, San Francisco? And by all means, you can send me some lime margarita Jelly Belly jelly beans. Okay, on to the palate. Cheers, everybody, and a big thanks again to everyone at the Yukon Spirits and Yukon Brewing Company, the makers of Two Brewers Single Malt Yukon Whiskey. Cheers. It's got a real delightful tartness to it that just lifts up that spirit quite a lot. I wrote here tart apples, cinnamon, fresh basil and mint. Yes, basil, back into that umami type of flavor, which seems to be what they are producing. That seems to be what that area, what the spirit, what the still and the fermentation process are bringing forth in their whiskey. Much less, however, than the previous, the first one that I did, the release number 3. It's spicy then dry. I wonder if there's a bit of rye malt included in this, and seems to be well aged. Obviously, this will contain some of their oldest whiskey since it's the latest release. There's still that fresh cut wood coming through as well, fresh cut cedar. I used to live near a wood supplier known as Cedarman, and the smell was quite nice when they were getting down to the cutting and making stuff in there. They used to do bespoke sheds and whatnot. Interesting. Um, the finish, you do get more of that that very savory umami type of flavor mixed in with the sweetness, and also quite a bit of dryness. And I write here, the umami comes in rye bread with sweet cream butter and jam. Doesn't that sound nice? Licorice and a sprouted grain bread like a sprouted spelt bread, which I used to enjoy a lot when I was traveling in the States. Hard to come by in Canada. Nice having people that are thinking of all those health conscious ideas down in California and places out in the West, generally speaking. Although it's pretty much I think a nationwide obsession in the USA and in Canada and in Europe now, that ultra health type of lifestyle that people are leading. And I hope that some of them enjoy a little bit of whiskey now and again, because I do believe that this is a healthy habit, as long as you're not polishing off half a bottle in a night. That certainly would be much too much in excess. But a glass or two, a small glass or two, I believe is quite a healthy component of one's lifestyle. Not just for the nutritional impact, because I think there's really not a lot of nutrition in there, but I do believe that there are lots of polyphenols, which are known to be cancer fighting. There are also effects on your body in a positive way, in terms of relaxation and so on. Anyway, I'm not really an expert. I just like the taste of it, and I really like how I feel. It just seems to be a very kind of almost ritualistic sort of thing that I do, and I quite enjoy it, and I sleep soundly. I never wake up hungover, and I always drink very small amounts, but multiple glasses. That way I can enjoy more flavors. I suggest you do the same. All right, the finish, I mentioned that already. Let's try that with a bit of water then. Round and round we go. Where it stops, nobody knows. We're going to shake it up this time. Looks like it's 4 o'clock. Gets a bit drier now with water. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's something about rye in here. Or it could be a winter wheat. Nice and spicy. And yet tart. And still that little bit of salty tinge to it. Now that's interesting. Now I'm not getting what I've written there before, so I'm going to add just a dash more. You know, you will not smell everything all the time. Notes are not permanent. Even the way you smell things is never the same. I guess I can kind of see the... Okay, yes, the chocolate flavored jelly beans. So not chocolate, but the chocolate flavored jelly beans. Yes, I can see that now. That's what I wrote. And yeah, I'm getting that with that little bit of that waxiness to it that you get on the outside of the jelly bean. And maybe like opening up the bag of white chocolate chips, which are not really chocolate, but... And in the midst of that, the tartness as well. Okay, let's test that one more time. We'll taste it one more time, I should say. Cheers. It's like this just subtle wash of a mix of mild fruity flavors, mild spices, just washing over your palate. And I write here, smooth sweetness, fruity yet also candy-like. Yes, there's a candy-like quality to it. Much less dry in the palate now. And in the finish, I'm noticing that that umami, that savory flavor a little bit more so. And I've written here everything that I noticed before: the rye bread with butter and jam, licorice, some kind of a grainy bread, but now also something like a hint of sun-dried tomatoes. You know, the brightness and yet that deep flavor that you get from the sun-dried tomatoes. Very nice. One more little taste. It's getting to that point where you're really noticing that it's showing a lot of the flavor and complexity that older whiskeys do. They are going to probably rock the boat in single malt, at least in Canada. I'm not sure how much they're able to make, whether or not they will increase production. I hope they will. They should maybe double their number of stills from 1 to 2, and then maybe double it again, get up to about 4, so they can have about 2,000 liters capacity. Well, 1,000 at a time anyway. Anyway, that would probably be able to provide malts for at least the whole of North America, and definitely can give a lot of American single malts and Canadian single malts a run for their money, although I haven't had that many of them. All right, so the Release 05 Innovative from Two Brewers Yukon Single Malt Whiskey. The WhiskyWhistle whiskey score is going to be 88 out of 100. And I write here, another superb offering. And the nickname for this one will be the Jelly Belly Margarita Malt. Almost like an everlasting gobstopper as well, with that unusual and very enjoyable savory component that I'm noticing coming from the Yukon Spirits Distillery up in the Yukon. Anyway, so look for that one, pick it up, and let me know what you think of this. I think they've got a winner on their hands here, and probably another award coming next year for them. That's what I think. All right, so that's it for me here at Whiskey Whistle. My name is Mark. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and also check out Whiskey Whistle on Twitter, on Instagram, the Facebook page as well. And if you're in Korea, there's even a Naver blog, which you can search in English, Whiskey Whistle, or phonetically in Korean language, WhiskyWhistle. You'll be able to find me. Okay? Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for tuning in, and take care.